welcome once again to Let's Talk Marriage. This is Pastor Larry coming to you this Wednesday afternoon with Let's Talk Marriage. All right. We're going to get right on into our program on today. I hope everyone is doing well. If you woke up this morning, you are doing well. What we're going to be talking about on our program today is keeping our marriages alive and well. Because marriage is underrated thing in this day and age. Most people prefer not to get married because they fear they might not end well, or they might not get along because if I've heard so many people say that, oh, we got along better, or a few couples say we got along better before we got married. That's because you didn't get a chance to know each other, and then when you knew each other, you knew you weren't soulmates, so you decided to go ahead and get married for whatever. It might have been a child involved or something like that, and that's why you got married. That's why sometimes the marriages doesn't work, because we try to change people, and you can't really change a person. Some people think because they know how the people are before they marry. Some people marry folks because on the program, again, let me go back. Sometimes on the program we do mention that people don't they might get married because they don't know someone, and then there's cases where people know how a person are or how a person is, and they go ahead and marry them because they figure they'll change after they get married. The same reason why sometimes some people think that just because they have a child or get a child involved or have a child that's going to change a person, but that's not going to change a person either. So you have to make sure that when you marry someone, that you marry them for the right reasons, and you marry them because that they're going to be your soulmate. If a person was a person that was a womanizer before you married them, I don't know why you would think that just because you got married to them that they're going to change. And marriage is a very sacred entity nowadays. It is ordained by God. So you have to make sure that you are getting married to the right person. And just because you know someone don't mean that they're for you. Because we've talked about in the past people marrying people that they don't know. But just because you know someone does not mean that they are the ones for you. So you have to make sure that that person is for you. And the things that we look for in a marriage, and some people don't, reason why they don't get married, they think it's supposed to be perfect. But there's no such thing as a perfect marriage. And we've talked about on the program many occasions how people might think that just because the marriage is perfect or not perfect, that they should not be married. But there's no such thing as a perfect marriage. If you're looking for a perfect marriage, you're never going to find one. And again, we've also said on the program that marriage is not hard. Some people think oh, marriage is real hard, and oh, you got to do this. It's not hard. If you, for instance, if you working a job that you love, is never hard. Sometimes it might be challenging, but it's not hard. And that's the word you want to use. It's challenge. Sometimes it's challenging, but it's not hard. Marriage is not hard, especially when two people love each other. It's never hard to get along, and and it's not a hard thing. Some of the things we have to learn to do in our marriages, because for one thing, let me go back. For one thing, the society, the enemy, and everything is against marriage, and it's not the popular thing to do right now. It's not the popular thing. The popular thing to do is to be with someone and not being married, or common law marriage is what they call it. But marriage is a very sacred thing. Again, once again, and the things they have to learn in a marriage is because again, it's never going to be a perfect marriage. But what you want to make sure that you learn to do. There's things that you learn to do, because there are uh, people that have been out there that's been married for years and they happily married, and they'll be the first to tell you it's not a perfect marriage, uh, and it's not hard. We have learned to evolve as a couple. And one of the things you do in a marriage, you have to learn to keep the peace. Learn to which battles to fight. You don't want to start a whole argument just because you brought up something from the past. And we've mentioned that several times on the program as well. If you have things from your past, things that you have not dealt with, the thing what you would need to do is make sure that you get some kind of counseling for that, or marriage counseling. So you won't go through those things or bringing up those things from the past, because they can be hindrance in a marriage. That when you bring up things from your past. And you can't move forward if you're bringing up things from your past. And if you're in a marriage where you decided to, both of you love each other, and there was infidelity in there, because infidelity is one of the things that you do have a reason to have get a divorce or separate or whatever. But if you decided to forgive that person, the thing about it, the first thing you do is you both need to seek counseling as individuals or together. That's one of the things you need to do, is seek some sort of counseling. That way that you won't keep bringing that up, because if you forgive someone for something, you don't want to keep bringing it up. As soon as you have a disagreement, that comes up again. So you want to make sure that that does not come up again. There's things that you won't forget about, but you move past it. You get past it, because we are not, God is the one that put things in the sea of forgetfulness. And we as humans, it's going to always be there, but leave it in the back of your mind. If you leave it in the back of your mind, you can get past it. All your hurts, those hurts and things should be dealt with before you enter into a marriage. And once you're in the marriage, you have to learn to keep the peace. One of the things that keeping the peace in the marriage. Try not to fight over little crazy things and bringing up things from the past, people from the past. And don't, say bad things about your spouse around your relatives, because then, when you've reconciled and trying to move on, they'll be looking at your spouse real crazy. So you have to make sure that you deal with those things from your past, and make sure you close chapters. A lot of times we enter in new relationships and have not finished the relationship that you just left. Because, if you have not finished the relationship or close that chapter in that relationship, when you move to a different relationship, what'll end up doing is you'll end up bringing those things up from that past, or treating that person the same way that you were treated, or you'll be on the defense all the time, and you won't be able to grow in the marriage. And keep it growing is another thing you want to do. You want to keep it growing in your marriage, so your marriage can grow. Do things together. We've always talked on the program. One of the things to have conversations in your marriage about positive things. You don't want to, have conversations about all the negative things, because if you start having conversations about the negative things that happen in your marriage, what's going to happen is you're going to end up in another argument again. So, and then what you want to do is you make pleasantries in your marriage, by, we've always talked about this in the program, or on the program, about going on vacations, taking those times out, leisure times, and enjoying each other as a married couple. You should be really enjoying each other, having fun with each other, having that laughter with each other. Because, again, society is so against marriage, and it's not the popular thing to do. But make sure that, because my wife and I, we've been married 35 years, and we've we started out as most young married couples, getting to learn each other. We knew each other, but we were getting to learn each other. Learning a person and knowing a person is two different things. When you learn a person, you learn how they are, what they do, what they're about, and everything. And when you know a person, you just know the surface part of them. When you learn the in depth or inner parts of them. And you still learning as you grow in a marriage. And we've been married for 35 years. There's still things we learn about each other as we go along, and we've learned about each other as the years go by. And and we enjoy each other a lot. We laugh together, we cry together. We just share so many different things in our marriage. So you have to keep it growing. There's nothing wrong with changing up, doing having a little change in the marriage. Like for instance, you might go to the same restaurant, go to a different place, do different things together, be adventurous together. Stay flexible in your marriage. Be open to different adventures in the marriage. Again, different adventures in the marriage. Because what you want to make sure you're doing is you're constantly that'll allow you to constantly grow in a marriage. And for those couples that are attending church together, make sure that you continue going to church together. And that's one of the things that keep a marriage alive, to keep a marriage going, is when you attend church, especially if you're in a church that has a lot of programs where, cater toward married couples, cater toward singles. And once again, the program is our program here is not just for married people. It's for people that are not married, contemplating on marriage, people that are seeing someone. It's a good idea to tune into the program so you'll know what to look for, what to expect in your relationship as you grow in your relationship. And you should be headed in a direction. If for those of you that are just seeing each other, you should have a direction that you're going to, or goals that you're going to. If you're, planning on getting married, that should be your main goal. If you are a couple, if you're seeing someone, or if you just met someone, their goal should not be, oh, I'm just experimenting, just trying to, uh, play the field, and you don't want to be get involved with someone that's just playing the field. You want to get involved with someone that goal is to be married, and to start a family. If not, make sure that it's stated before you walk down the aisle. If you neither one of you want kids, that's fine. That should be talked about before you walk down the aisle. And if you do want kids, that should be discussed, because children are very expensive nowadays, especially nowadays with child care. Those things should be discussed before you decide on having or planning a family. Who's going to keep the kids, and are you going to use a daycare? Because daycares can be very expensive. So those things should be talked about. Uh, One of the things that in your marriage you should be make sure that you show your love in a marriage. There's nothing wrong with hugging your wife, telling her how beautiful she is. Nothing wrong with telling your husband how handsome he is, and it's share these things. And when your kids see you there, and they should have those moments where they get embarrassed because mom and dad is hugging. Oh, there you guys go again. But you know what? That plays a very important part when you hear them say that. Oh, there you guys go again. Well, go get a room. When the kids are saying things like that. You know what that does? That sets a pace for them to know what to expect when they decide to get in a relationship. They will look for someone that's loving, like they see their parents are. They're showing affection, and they'll be and when they get in a relationship, they'll know how to show affection uh, between their spouse. So you have to make sure that those the kids see the love that's in the household. And it keeps down a lot of arguments in the household. When the kids see mom and dad getting along, they're going to get along with their siblings. They're going to get along with their peers and their classmates. They're going to get along with them. They're going to have bonding or lasting relationships with their friends. And when they get in a marriage, they'll be seeking someone that they can have a lasting relationship with as well. So those things have to be stressed in the household. So the love has to be shown in the household. And don't keep scoring in marriage. Oh, I did this and you don't do that. I did these things and you don't do this. And every time I come in, I got to do this and you don't do that. That's cause a conflict in the marriage as well when you're. Seems like you're competing. Well, last time I washed the dishes, just do them together and and help out. We've said on the program a lot of times that us fellas should help out our wives around the house. There's nothing wrong with doing things around the house. Just make sure you keep things up around the house. Make sure you keep the house in order. To alleviate some of the worries and stress off your wife, because your wife is stressing, the whole household is stressing. So make sure those things are done. Keep the laughter alive in a marriage. Make sure that you are both having a good time with each other, enjoying each other in the marriage. Make sure you have fun together, enjoying marriage, because it's a wonderful thing. Again, my wife and I have been married for 35 years, so we still enjoy each other's company. So make sure that we are enjoying each other's company, because, again, for those of you couples that are in church, the enemy always comes against marriages. And, if you go to church on Sunday morning, most of the times the arguments or disagreements usually start on Sunday mornings. So we have to make sure that we keep the laughter and the joy alive in our marriage. And then, our kids see that and they notice the joy, and they notice all the good things in the marriage. You don't want them to see mom and dad always arguing, always fighting. They have to get out of the house to get some peace. You don't want that to happen in your household. You want to keep the joy in your household. And us husbands should make sure that we are always complimenting our wives, always showing affection, always showing love toward our wife. Love your wife as Christ loves the church. This is Pastor Larry. We're going to be signing off. We're going to be covering some more topics that you guys sent in. Don't forget to keep sending in. If you could think of any topics that you would like us to discuss on the program, make sure that you send us a note. Just send a note to us, and then I'll get it, and we'll make sure that we cover your topics that you want to discuss or see us discuss on the program. Last week, I believe it was last week, we spoke about listening, which is a very important part of being married. And some of the other things we're going to, topics we want to discuss. Make sure you continue to send in those topics, anything you can think of that you would like to see us discuss on the program. We will be discussing them on the program. This is Pastor Larry. Until we meet again on next Wednesday with Let's Talk Marriage. Now, remember, all the music that you hear on the program is from a wonderful app called Whoop Triggers Plus. It's available on the Apple platform as well as the Android platform. This is Pastor Larry. Until we meet again with Let's Talk Marriage. All right, let's talk marriage. Until we meet again, this is Pastor Larry coming to you this Wednesday afternoon with Let's Talk Marriage. Love on your wife, love on your children, love God. Stay in church, stay in school. Say no to drugs. This is Pastor Larry. Till we meet again with Let's Talk